Oh, let's see. Well, the lighting's not great, that's for sure. Let me see what I can do. You know what? Might just get to view me in the dark today. Oh, there we go. Guess that'll work. Can mind my lack of furnishings in my bedroom. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for returning. And I'd like to give a couple of quick shout outs to people who have been helping with the channel and being a good friend to me, to the channel, to just a good person in general. We all appreciate you. To Beanie Girl, my OG80, and my moderator. And speaking of which, any moderators, exactly, hey, hey, that make it into the chat today, we got to keep our eyes open. There have been some trolls. It's funny, since changing the flow of the channel, it suddenly seems there's more assholes than ever. It's kind of weird. And I'd like to thank people like Quasar for being a good friend, and Zoe Oliver and Isabel, and all of these people that have been such an important part of the building of this channel, which, as I said, has taken a couple turns. So today I want to talk about something that has not only affected me, myself, throughout my life, and took years and years to grow out of, but I also deal with currently, and I think many of us deal with. And, feel free to chime in with your thoughts, opinions, and views. I know some people, think like me, where good people attract. Good morning, Asher, and thank you to Asher as well. Um, some people think, cut myself away from these manipulative people and I'll do better. And that's exactly what happened to me when I cut out toxic family members, or dogs, or animal training, or other things I've done in the past. My life improved. And I've witnessed that myself, and I've even backtracked or regressed, and got close to some of these people again. A lot of times, they'll make you feel guilty for not being involved. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be them. Sometimes it's you, in your soul, your head, or that you feel guilty for not being more involved. But a lot of times with any family member or friend or partner or whatever, you can only do so much, and be there so much until you're a detriment to yourself, or possibly enabling the very person you're trying to help. And family members have a lot of problems with that. They want to insert themselves and help, but sometimes it can be perceived differently. And I don't think people understand the pressure that they put one another under. So I looked up a few articles I wanted to share with everybody. And I'm going to welcome everyone to share their story, or chime in, or throw up a waving hand if you've dealt with this. What's up, Isabel? Well, at least you are clean. So I know we've all dealt with this in one way, shape, or form. And if you're a person that can say that you have never dealt with any of this, I'd like to say, wow, you're very fortunate. Imagine your shock when you finally do run into something like that. So it's, I think I'm going to start. And, like I said, I pulled up a couple of articles, and, you know, I want to talk about what the signs are. And I'm going to, go off track here and there and explain what it did to me personally. The whole thing about this channel is being learning from life with Ashley. So these are my personal experiences mixed with professional opinions, and the symptoms and signs and what it does. Being a person that's being raised through severe childhood trauma that affects me as an adult, it's a daily battle to stay above that, to not beat myself up about it, or, and I'm stronger than other people. So I'm constantly reminded of that by others and myself, to remember that, not everybody's me. And I'm not here to judge. I think everybody has to do what they need to do, and you can respect people for what they're doing. But more often than not, I wonder, if people just, they fall under immense pressure. So this article coming from Healthline is called Eight Family Manipulation Tactics and How to Respond to Them. I specifically chose these two articles after going through them because they not only talked about the symptoms and the signs that you're being manipulated, but some of the ways to deal with it. And like I said, I'll go off track here and there as I discuss how I personally deal with it. And I'm going to ask the moderators, which fortunately we've got, I mean, it's like all moderators right now, which is fucking fantastic, to keep an eye out for trolls. We've had a lot of issues lately. So let's get into this article. Like I said, it's so weird that it's such a problem now with the name change and shit. So we're going to go through this article. Most family dynamics involve some degree of manipulation, and nothing could be truer. Okay, hold on a second. I want the dang door open for some air, but then I've got this damn thing harassing me. Okay, sorry about that. I should have already done that. So some manipulative behaviors, like your mother's yearly guilt trip, okay, and let's say this doesn't just hold on. This doesn't just break down. I don't even care. It's not like I haven't talked about my son's annoying ass cat. It's the fact that he's annoying me. Um, this doesn't just apply to mothers. This is, all over the grid when it comes to different manipulative family members. Like someone saying, I've spent 27 hours in labor bringing you in the world. At least you could do is spend a few hours having a nice holiday dinner with your family. If you're telling them that you don't want to be there for whatever reason, they should respect that. Yes, it's, one thing to say like, oh, well, we'd like to have you here, but you have to respect each other's choices. It's one of the reasons I brought up people like Quasar and Beanie and stuff. We have a lot of conversations about our lives and our families, and we respect one another's decisions. We'll give each other non-biased, opinions or facts or thoughts and try to help one another out. And after that, you can't, it's not like you're forcing people to do anything. In a family with a healthy dynamic, you might crack jokes with your siblings or even recite your mother's words before she can even say them. Okay. So, sure, she's making an emotional appeal to get what she wants. But since you're all on the same page, this tactic doesn't trigger any negative feelings, right? But at the end of the day, you can directly express your feelings whenever you want. But family ties evoke a strong emotion, and some people make deliberate use of these feelings. So hear that, understand. Family ties evoke a lot of strong emotions, and some people make deliberate use of these feelings. And for those of you that may not understand, people know that they can manipulate you. And this could be relationships, this could be, family members. Sorry, I got to open this back up. It's starting to heat up around here. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? You guys just give me 1 second and don't mind my pajama shorts. I'm going to work soon. And yes, I go to work in my pajama shorts. Oh, now it's going to get real dark. Just hold on a second. I'm going to fix everything. I should have done this beforehand. I'm trying to save electricity, but I'm like, no, it's already getting kind of humid. So we're experiencing a cool down. So, this person will use that against you. They know how to guilt trip you into things. I've dealt with this with family members. I've also dealt with this with relationships and everything. So here we go. They might, for example, exploit a weakness when they want you to do things you'd rather not do, including things that are going to cause you pain. To me, someone that hasn't had much family, I dealt with it when I was younger. I ended up getting rid of these people in my life, and I was better for it. I'm not saying that's best for everybody. Sometimes you just have like kind of a manipulative aunt or whatever, or your mom or whatever it is, and you can cope, right? No, we're talking about highly toxic traits. And if someone is manipulating you into doing something that you're not comfortable with doing, or that they know is causing you long-term distress or pain, that is a sign of manipulation. These tips below can help you recognize common manipulation tactics and how to respond effectively. So I'm going to take a look at what you guys are talking about over here. Yeah, see, like I said, it's like a moderator group, whoop, whoop. Yes, FF, fuck Fluffy, loving it. So let's just keep going, shall we? And, I'd like to point out, seeing as how this is originally it was a horse training channel, then it's a dog hating channel, and now, we're going to talk about different topics as they come up. So manipulation is the same thing. They've actually engineered dogs and bred them to make them more manipulative, but that's another story. What it may look like. Manipulation involves an attempt to control someone else. You can generally boil it down to one common behavior. Someone wants you to give up something: time, a personal possession, autonomy, power, relationships or friends, or anything else for their benefit. Recognizing manipulation within families can be particularly difficult when the person is a parent, older sibling, or a relative who holds authority. Okay? If you believe you're supposed to do what they say no matter what, you might struggle to challenge this pattern, even in adulthood. I'm not going to call it any names, but I've been dealing with this with someone recently. And they seem to forget the things that they've said and talked about in the past, where suddenly now this is like all okay and these people are wonderful. You have an authority figure in the family that is manipulating you through guilt and getting you to do something that you clearly are not happy about, that you're questioning yourself, and it's killing you inside. It's ripping you apart, and but you do it anyways because they have so much authority over not only you but the entire family. And they can do it with seniority, they can do it with finances. It happens in so many ways. The thought that this person could withhold praise or their approval or some kind of financial benefit will change everything. So, some of the red flags being you may not recognize manipulation immediately, since it's often subtle, but you may notice these key signs. You often feel tricked or pressured into doing things. It seems as if you can't do anything right. It no longer seems possible to say no. They often twist the truth, and you'll feel guilty or confused, and your efforts never seem good enough. This is another thing that's close to home to me because not only did this take place in my life and I dealt with this, but I'm dealing with someone in my life right now that's feeling all of these emotions with their family. And it's tough being a person on the outside and trying to tell someone, like, hey, I think your family is manipulative as fuck and you're not seeing it. Even though that same person prior could have said, man, these guys, they're not great and they're manipulating me. And it's always about them and it's never about me. And what about my happiness and my future? None of that matters when it comes to dealing with someone who's manipulative or a narcissist, right? Invalidation of feelings, like someone who wants you to go along with their desires, might try to make you believe that your feelings don't matter. Remember, this is subtle though. This person's not going to say out loud, like, fuck your feelings. I'm talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Different. A family member may try to invalidate your feelings by dismissing your concerns, reprimanding or punishing you for showing emotion. And by that being, if you show emotion or go against what they want, then you will be punished. There will be consequences for it, such as the disapproval of an authoritative family member, having them look down on you, the concern about forgiveness. When family is really about forgiveness, I mean, unless you're, at their house shitting in the middle of their living room floor like some kind of mongrel, kicking over their lamps, breaking their antiques, and flipping everybody off, then you're not doing anything that negative if you say, like, hey, dad, I don't want to work at this job. I want to do this. This is the career I'm going to pursue. And if you feel that you can't tell, your father, for example, that without being punished for it, then there you go. For example, if you told your mother you won't attend your grandmother's birthday party because you know that the cousin who abused and bullied you in childhood would be there, right? Or you have like some cousin or family member that you just don't want to be around. The mother may reply by commenting on how selfish you are. Haven't you forgotten about that now? It was long ago. Nothing's going to happen at the party. Can't you just be polite for a few hours? Insinuating, that you're the bad guy for wanting to respect your own feelings and desires. Her continued attempts to persuade you, invalidate the pain and distress that you've experienced, leaving you hurt by her lack of support. Over time, invalidation can make you internalize the idea that your feelings really aren't important. This belief can extend to other relationships, increasing your vulnerability to further manipulation. Not only that, I'll throw in, it becomes easier for you to manipulate yourself. It becomes harder to make decisions because of pressure coming from every area. There's emotional blackmail, which was a huge one I dealt with personally. A family member using emotional blackmail will make a deliberate appeal to your feelings to try and convince you to do what they want. Okay? These tactics follow patterns. If you're resisting or putting up some kind of, other perspective, right? So they say if you're resisting, they'll pressure you into giving in. This often involves flattery. So it doesn't always have to be threatening. It can go both. That's what manipulation is. And this will engage your emotions or your sense of obligation to them. When you agree to do what they want, they may reward you with kindness or affection, compliments. Okay? This will not last, though. Now that they know you'll go along with what you want if they use the right tactics, they won't hesitate to blackmail you again. Gaslighting. This is a big thing lately, and I hear a lot of people using the word, and I don't think they exactly know what it means. Let me come over here and check in on you guys. What's up, Puma? What's up, Quasar? Hey, Catherine. So the topic is the basis of why I started my channel. Thank you, and good morning, Kathleen. I really want to talk on a whole lot of new things. What's up, Jonathan? And so, like I said, we can touch on more topics, and this is serious, serious shit. Hello, Catherine. And I don't think enough people spend time talking about it. Okay. So, oh, is this timely for you, Kathleen? And so that's what I said. Anybody that wants to share their story, or like I said, we've all raise a hand and say, hey, I've dealt with this, even if you're strong enough to look past it and know that it's not, right? Or you're dealing with it from a partner that has so many good qualities that you want to look past it, right? But you know it though, you're living with it. And so you choose to accept that. There's all different variations of this. This isn't just, oh, this is so toxic and terrible, I can't ever talk or be around these people again, like in my case. That doesn't mean that's the case for everyone. So a pattern of gaslighting often leaves you confused, doubting your own memory, questioning your perception of reality. Over time, this manipulative tactic can have a serious impact on your self-perception and mental health. Someone trying to gaslight you may counter your memories by denying certain events. Well, I never said you were stupid. How could you accuse me of that? I've dealt with that myself. Insisting that they told you something important when they didn't. Pretending to forget they made a promise to you. Trying to convince you that something happened, okay? Or insisting that you're imagining things or lying. And then there's guilt tripping. People often use guilt to get you to take responsibility for something that isn't your fault. When you feel guilty, you're more likely to do what that other person wants. It's a manipulation tactic that's, quite frankly, works very well. This includes trying to resolve the problem for them. Guilt isn't always malicious. In fact, feeling guilty when you've done something wrong and someone expresses their feelings to you isn't a bad thing. But when a family member regularly uses guilt to make you feel bad or do things you'd rather not do, this usually suggests manipulation. If someone is telling you, like, hey, I know you're doing what you want to do, but we need you to do this. We need you here. How could you not do this for us because we have to have you here? How could you turn on us? When you're not doing anything. Like I said, you're not in their house shitting on the floor and kicking over the furniture. You're just living your own life. But because they can no longer hold you under thumb and control you and force you to do the things that benefit them, they're going to guilt trip you. They're going to start gaslighting you. They're going to use emotional blackmail. And like they mentioned earlier in one of the paragraphs, if it works, and it often does, they'll continue. Now, most family members, if they go to guilt trip you or emotionally blackmail you and it doesn't work, they take it up a notch. They get really bent out of shape, right? And then they'll try again and again. And when it does not work, they normally just pull away from you. I've experienced that with my own sister, as I had allowed her, and I talked about this, to emotionally blackmail me for years. It sounds so dramatic when you say it, but when you get into the signs and the behaviors that go with it, it's not a dramatic statement. It's a real thing. And sometimes these people are mentally ill, don't even realize they're doing it. Or there's survival and just basic instincts that this person needs to survive and needs this quality of life, and you're part of it. And it doesn't matter if you need other things or you have desires that you are trying to fulfill in your life. It's about them. How could you dare not help us? We need you. I wanted to say this to my partner, and I stopped myself for that very reason. I said, like, oh, this sucks, I need this, blah, blah. But I did not go into the whole thing. And unfortunately, it's true. But you have to respect that person's decisions. Just because I need this person and I had, begun to rely on them on multiple levels doesn't mean that the right thing for me to do is manipulate them back into my circle, correct? So then there's withholding affection. And I've dealt with a lot of that. A family member offering conditional love or affection will demonstrate kindness and other caring behaviors only when you're doing what they want. When you make a mistake or disappoint them in some way, they may punish or criticize you, imply that they don't love you. They don't have to say it, they'll imply it. Blame you rather than external circumstances. for your mistakes or failures. Unfortunately, as I go through all this, it's even sadder as I was reading it this morning, because a few people that I've talked to lately that are dealing with some of this is like the textbook of what they're going through. And they'll literally say to me, like, I failed. It doesn't matter. I'm never going to succeed. I'm not going to make all parties happy. And you say, like, well, what about you? What about your happiness? And I just don't know. I can't make a decision. I'm going to fuck up no matter what. And it's like, no, if you follow your heart and do what is good for you, you're not fucking up no matter what. So you're disappointing a couple people. But the important part is you're taking care of your own mental health and wants and desires. This type of manipulation often involves isolation tactics, such as saying that no one else cares about you or can care about you as much as they do, threatening other people with punishment or isolation if they support you or show affection, because they're trying to circle you around. Some people manipulate by taking on the role of a victim. They might blame others for their difficulties, downplay their own responsibilities, or avoid doing anything to help themselves. This tactic is to make you feel guilty to step in to help. I was talking to my brother about this yesterday with his mother. Long story, I might make a video about one day, but she's using this victimhood of how she's, needs him. And he goes right for it because, a caring person, they can't help but, you may also notice they turn situations around to make it seem as if you're the one to blame. If you hadn't moved out, I wouldn't have forgotten to take my medications. If I get sick, it's your fault. And sometimes it's not this direct. Sometimes it's very subtle. We all need to remember the subtleties. A pattern of this behavior, often referred to as victim mentality, can involve exaggeration of problems they are having or their weaknesses. These concerns might have truth to them. Some people really do keep getting dealt a bad hand. But this behavior becomes manipulative when someone is using these difficulties to earn your sympathy and make you feel as if they cannot function without you, without your support, particularly when they're making no effort to change their own situations. Okay? So I want to go through. All right. So here. Let's see here. And let's go down. I want to go down to some of because there's a few others, but I want to go down to some of the helpful tips. How to respond. Dealing with family manipulation and other toxic behaviors can be stressful, to say the least. When you feel uncertain about how to handle a situation, you might avoid responding at all. This may help you to avoid conflict, but it also allows this manipulation to continue. The strategies that we're going to offer will help you react productively and protect your well-being. You can call the people out on the manipulation. Okay, these are different ideas, all right? A good first step is to acknowledge that you're aware of the manipulation. Now, I've known some people that are like, no, me being aware of it to myself is good enough. And I've known some people that need to tell them. I was one of those, when I made the break with my toxic family members, I told them I wasn't crazy or rude or freaking out. I just said, like, look, this is a toxic situation. This is not fulfilling. There's nothing positive about it. I need to pull away. Some examples could be, it's upsetting when something doesn't go as well as planned. I wish things had worked out, but since I wasn't even involved, I don't have a reason to feel guilty. Okay. We made a deal. I did everything you asked. When you went back on your word, I felt deceived and disrespected. All right. Let them know how it makes you feel. Though good intentions sometimes lie behind manipulation tactics, it doesn't excuse a person's behavior. By telling them that their behavior is affecting you negatively, you can help them to realize that manipulation is not the answer. You can acknowledge their perspective and tell them, I know you're stressed because you have things going on, but you need to respect my perspective on things. You could express your anger and hurt in a calm and polite way. I've asked you before not to do this to me. When you do it, I feel disrespected. It makes me feel angry, confused, and sad. Explain how the manipulation affects you and the relationship with this person or relationships around you. Set boundaries. A boundary clearly states your needs and helps outline the things that you will and won't do. I believe in healthy boundaries. For example, you might say, I need honesty in my relationships. If you keep lying, I'll limit our communication to essential conversations only. When you set boundaries with someone, they may accuse you of withholding or punishing them. But remember, boundaries exist to protect you first. There is you. They give you an opportunity to decide which behaviors you're going to accept before any potential harmful actions take place. Others can then choose to respect your boundaries and continue interacting in a way that works for you. I want to get into the next article, but I'll point out sometimes, this is controversial, and I know many of us have done it without realizing we've done it. Sometimes you welcome family to be manipulative. Okay? If you're involving them in too many of your problems, family's there to reach out to, right? But there's an important reason we have friends. And it's so we can speak to our friends rather than stressing out family members and bringing them into sensitive and personal information. When you have people that love you, a wife, a husband, a mother, a father, these different things, they have this drive to protect you. So when you get them involved and they're hearing these kinds of things, it's going to incite a lot of protective nature, and they can end up manipulating you even almost accidentally. Maybe it's not accidental. It's hard to tell because no one will confess. But if you have told them that you're down and out or you're in a mental situation and they're offering things to help, sometimes it's not always so helpful. Sometimes it can dilute and mess you up in the head as you try to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, right? Good morning, Slime. See, hello, Catherine said it was hard, but I had to cut ties with all family members. Hello, Catherine. You and I have a lot in common. And it was hard. Okay. I am happy and sane now as well. And it was this huge change in my life. I went from being like, wow, I've got these issues. What if I'm never functioning? I'm afraid I'm going to end up like them, following the same cycles and patterns of behavior. And when I finally decided, like, hey, there's nothing positive about this, I need to put distance in between myself and these people, my whole life changed. I can't even describe how it was this huge weight. And I started recognizing all these great qualities about myself and my ability to be a good friend. And, I've told many friends of mine, I know some of you will recognize me saying this because I've talked to you about it. I'm a great friend, and I'm not always the best partner. And, but I've had a lot of trauma in my life and I work every day to fix it. But over time, I've realized, I've had a few relationships and, it's not always me. Sometimes it's triggering effects from someone else. And I don't even believe that people are always doing it intentionally, you know? Yeah, see, it's what's up, Kai? Good to see you. So let me see some of your other comments. Quasar says, geez, Ash, it's like you've been over to my family Thanksgiving. That's one thing. Another reason I wanted to talk about this. Not only is it affecting me personally at the moment and people that I know, but the holidays are coming. Family. I, for one, am so happy I don't have to deal with any fucking family on the holidays. Now, if I had a really good family, and I've gone to plenty of other, I even go to a neighbor's holiday celebrations. I love doing that. They have a very sweet family. Yes, like they have their own problems. Everyone does. But it's not the way my family would be. So, hello, Catherine says there was a movie made called Gaslighting. It's a big deal and very damaging. My father would come over to my house and flip my toilet paper roll just to mess with my mind. And when I finally caught on, he laughed and said he was testing me. Dude, it's so spiritual that you were talking about this issue. We're all so connected. And I totally agree. And that's, a big part of what I want to do with this channel. Okay. So I think this is all so very important. So let me skip forward here and see what everybody else is up to. KCS, thank you. It's good to be back, and I like the change in what we're going to do. And hello, Catherine is also saying, I realized my family was obsessed with toxic relationships. They love to gossip about each other and feed on other people's pain. It's tough to recognize and even tougher to work with. Hey, Slime, we love you. I'm not going to be on a whole lot longer. I have one more article to cover. I will touch on the conversation I had with my brother again before I hop into this next article. He and I were discussing, and he's in his 50s, and I'm nearing 40, that we still have so much damage taking place from our childhood and these toxic relationships that we had, and the rest of our life will be healing. My father just passed away. You don't have to show any pity. It's okay. He was a terrible human. And more... when people have good family members or parents that pass away, they deal with a loss of love and a grief and devastation for the loss of this person. Myself was more relief and a lot of sadness for other people in my family that are having trouble coping when I've been dealing with this for years. Okay. So it was kind of a lot more of a smooth transition for me rather than being this huge problem. And, he and I were saying, like, this is going to go on forever. They Our family was obsessed with negativity and lying. They loved lying and telling these crazy tales and confusion and manipulation. For example, um, my aunt Kim showed up when my father was dying. Um, Myself and all my sisters, not even having a strong relationship, all said the same thing to my brother, and he was so shocked. We were told every one of my father's sisters had killed themselves. Every one of them. We were told there were three sisters, and we were told that every one of them had killed themselves. I've been told this story since I was a child. So we were all confused. So, what? Like, Aunt who? Like, and I didn't even know their fucking names. This is just what I had been told. So, the manipulation never ends and the confusion ceases to stop. So, I'm going to get into this second article. And then I want to get through the rest of this, and I want everybody to have a fantastic day. And then I'm going to call and chit chat with Beanie before I go to work. Slime has college, which we all wish you good luck with, Slime. We're all very proud of you. Slime is one of our youngest members here. And I know Beanie and I have talked about him a couple times. We're so proud of him and his ability to succeed and thrive, even though he has some toxic family stuff going on and college and everything else. But he's an open-minded, intelligent person that makes good decisions and seems to deal with his issues like a fucking man. And so here's to you, Slime, Creeper. We appreciate you and all of the rest of you that have been sticking it out with us throughout what I believe has been like a year or so of me making videos on this platform. Actually, it's probably about 2 because I did the horse videos. So now we'll get into the topic that I had just mentioned, family manipulation during the holidays. And this is real for people, especially during this time of year. We've got Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas, New Year's. So going home for the holidays can be special, but for many people in recovery, it's a time of anxiety. Why? Families are complicated. No matter how much you have changed since leaving the nest, something about going back under your parents' roof brings up old feelings. You may feel obligated to fit the role you previously held in the house. This is especially challenging when you have manipulative family members. Manipulation is a toxic pattern of behavior that has become commonplace in families worldwide. Some examples, like your mother asking you to call her more often or comparing you to a cousin, are annoying but harmless. In other instances, your family may seek to control you, hurt your feelings, or make you adopt their opinions and ideas of a proper life. This usually involves, invalidating your feelings and experiences, making you feel tricked into doing favors for them, interrupting you or invalidating your feelings, reprimanding you, withholding affection and approval, criticizing you when you refuse to conform to their ideas, mocking you when things go wrong, or intimidation and threats. Which, remember the subtleties, guys. When we hear things like intimidating or threatening, we think like someone saying out loud, like, you get back over here and do what the fuck I told you, or I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. No, sometimes it's other stuff, like, you said you were gonna do this and we needed you and you didn't. And I've experienced that so many times. My mother, I've made the joke and it's sick, but used to tell my mother and people around that my mom treats me like her husband. She treats me like I'm this person that's obligated to take care of her and the family. And it was never, ever about what I needed to do or building a life for myself. And it took me years to recognize that. By the time I recognized it, I'm not going to cry. Ugh. It was too late for me to have a regular, normal family. Yes, I can still do that. I'm saying as a young lady, I could have gotten married and had a family and done things for myself, and I didn't. My brother and I were even talking about last night. Our family was so toxic and the damage was so severe. We're great parents and we do everything we're supposed to do, but we don't have like that bond and stuff. It's not natural to us. A lot of it is very forced. Our children aren't suffering. I made the joke and said, I don't know, it took 15 years of me watching sitcom moms to finally realize how to be a good mom. No one taught me that. I learned the opposite of that. And from watching and being around environmental stresses like toxic families, you pick up toxic behaviors whether you like it or not. and it can take years to repair the damage. To protect yourself from manipulative family members, it helps to know which behaviors to look out for. See if any of the below examples feel familiar to you, like an imbalance of power. People who fit this profile seek to control others. In the process, they become more powerful than you or anyone else in the house. Every characteristic listed below serves to reinforce and further this imbalance. This would be, like we said, the senior or authoritative figure, the one with the money or the one with the estate, or it could be the most dominant one. They'll make you feel guilty, even when you shouldn't. Guilt trips are a hallmark of manipulation. These individuals are able to easily point the finger at others, especially when they're in the wrong and have been called out. Sometimes this can be done to create drama and conflict between family members. Sometimes it's done subtly and you don't even realize it's being done to you. Sometimes that perpetrator doesn't even realize they're doing it. Like I said, there's survival and instincts that, well, I have to have this person and I need them, so I have to manipulate them into being here, and I know how to do it. And they're almost incapable of thinking about your feelings. You don't have time to make a decision for yourself. While Hollywood movies are full of urgent split-second decisions, real life is rarely that time sensitive. If you have manipulative family members, you're probably used to being pressured for in-the-moment answers. The goal of this technique is to cause you to cave to the other person's will. They'll make problems, but they won't solve them. Manipulators are messy. They're experts at leaving trails of unresolved and strained relationships in their wake. You may notice that they'll stir up drama in their own lives and homes, especially during the holidays. You're unsure of what you've experienced. Do you find that your words have often been twisted? Or did your family member tell you that you're confused about something that happened in your past? If so, this is gaslighting. This is particularly toxic behavior. It involves minimizing your experiences, lying to you, rewriting history, and make you question your own reality. Gaslighting is one of the most concerning signs of manipulation. You just can't win. Finally, someone may fit this mold if you feel like you just can't win, or rather, they won't let you win. No matter how carefully you try to follow their rules or predict their moods, they respond by moving the goalpost or bad-mouthing you to relatives. If this is the case, it's time for you to do something about your manipulative family member. How to handle manipulative family members during the holiday? Well, fortunately, there are plenty of ways you can protect yourself from the influence of manipulative parents, siblings, or extended family members. And they'll go over a few that we already did, so I'm going to cut through these quickly. Set clear boundaries about what you'll accept and what you won't. Draw a line in the sand about gossiping. I'm not ready to talk about my addiction with my whole family. Or if you continue to lie to Aunt Sharon about my time in treatment, I'm going to have to go home. If your manipulative family member chooses to cross the line, be prepared to follow through with the consequences you laid down. Avoid giving these people the upper hand. This goes into where I said, be careful with how much information you give a family member because you just gave them the upper hand. They know you're weak, you're easy to manipulate, and that's a natural human behavior. And there they are, saving you. Right. Seeking support from others can be helpful. First, you could talk to your significant other, your best friend, or a trusted relative about what's going on. This can provide you with much needed reassurance. Just make sure you're choosing the right person. If you're talking to Uncle Randy and Uncle Randy tells everybody about it, well, then you don't have someone to talk to rely on for that safety, that comfort zone. That's why friends are so important. Or a good cousin, right? Or hell, you'd be better off. I know this is fucked up, but it's true. You'd be better off to reach out to a friend on social media, Facebook or something, and say, hey, I just wanted to talk about some issues I was having, and keep some of that away until you actually get through it. If you allow people into your situation before you've made solid decisions for yourself, you're allowing them to come in and manipulate your thought process when it's supposed to be about what you want. Okay. So, I like I said, don't have to deal with these kinds of things, you know? And so let's see, we've got, and Kai, everybody's good, it seems, and I hope you're doing well. And thank you for sticking it with us. I really appreciate you. Hello, Catherine says, wow. Thank you so much, Ashley, for sharing your stories. We all share so many parallels. It helps so many deal with feeling isolated. And that's what I'm saying. Rather than, involving someone in my life that may end up trying to manipulate me, or because as a family member, they're going to favor you. So that's where the attention's going to go. And but they're trying to help you and they may be hindering you. I could reach out to Hello Catherine or Asher or Beanie Girl or Quasar and have great friends of mine now that I love and cherish and talk to them. And they won't judge and hold against me. They're still going to love me at the end of the day, rather than someone in my family that may have the wrong motivation for helping me. Okay. Kai says it's sad how most people call their dogs their children. It's disgusting. There's another strange form of manipulation that takes place with your child who's sitting back witnessing you calling this critter your child. It's really freaking disturbing. Isabel's going grocery shopping. Enjoy. Okay. And let's see what else we've got here. You're just being silly, Asher said. I've gotten that one a lot. You're thinking too hard on this. You're worrying too much. You're being silly. These kinds of things where, and basically, it immediately invalidates your opinion. You know, one I freaking hate, and I know Quasar and I have talked about this a few times, being told how I feel. I am obviously an open communicator. I have no problem sharing my opinions, thoughts, or feelings on things. I do it publicly about controversial things that people don't want to hear about, down to things that we need to hear about, right? And when someone tells me how I'm feeling, and they'll say, "Obviously, you're angry," right? I dealt with that one recently. No, and you can tell the person, no, I'm hurt, I'm confused, I'm this, that. And it could be hours later, the following day, that they're like, you're obviously angry. No, but you know what women love? Being told they're angry over and over again, because you're just going to make an angry woman, right? So, Beanie says the worst manipulator is the one that enjoys it. My stepdad was a terrible person who got off on messing us kids up. Ding, 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 Beanie. I had many family members like that. They enjoy the gossip, the drama. They enjoy creating problems where one may not even have existed and getting everyone all worked up. They're getting off on it. So Catherine says, my mind is racing through so many past experiences, and I'm already thinking about my next post. I love it, and I'm glad I can help. And Kathleen Adams says, that's where I am, but it's my oldest son. My oldest kid, my sister, the relationship, as I mentioned, the emotional blackmail and the toxicity, I love her and I'm so worried. And there's this guilt, Quasar and I have talked about this, building up inside of me that says that it's my responsibility because I raised her to be there for her, regardless of how she treats me. That's not true. I have every right to distance myself and have a good life, or to, you know, I just hope that she figures it out one day and things can be okay. If not, I still have to protect myself. Okay. So, yeah, and we need to, for those of you sub to Hello Catherine, we've got to go see this. She said, when I spoke out about a family member's behavior at Thanksgiving, I was the one who got turned on and physically assaulted by the father. I said this to my brother yesterday as I was hesitant. I didn't know my brother until he was 40. He was given up for adoption. And when he contacted me on social media, I knew who his father was, because obviously we shared a father. And I also knew his mother. This manipulative woman has been in my life for years. And yeah, Jesus. I mean, I told him, I want to talk to you and I want to be the voice in your head when things go wrong. So you remember that you're worth it and you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't ask for this. You were just born into a parasitic pack of hyenas. And I said, I don't want to be the guy that's always attacked, because I'm the one who's always attacked for saying the truth. And I try with tact and couth to do it properly, and it doesn't always work out. Sorry to hear streams buffering. I haven't heard that from anybody. Okay, cool. And Asher says, you're too sensitive. I get that one a lot. You're being too sensitive. It's just all invalidating your feelings and your ability to communicate. And that's one of the things I've mentioned to, not only recently, but in the past. There's obviously a lack of communication. There's got to be another way we can communicate, right? It could be through letter writing. One could take a step back. I seen a tactic I loved that I tried with an ex of mine years ago, where you have a notebook and you write down your statement and you leave it out on the table, and then they come by and see it when they're ready and they write down theirs. And it's just so much better than sitting there arguing with each other. Blah, 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 blah. The shit's just, and you're not getting anywhere. And now everyone's getting frustrated and it's become an argument, and now it's an offensive thing and you're defensive, and it's a fest of insults and hurt and stress. And what do hurt people do? They hurt. So you're so dramatic. Quasar says, seeing red on that one. It's hard to stop being the family doormat. I like to say the family lightning rod. It takes a lot of work to see that your love is being used against you. And it's difficult. And it's so hard to accept once you realize it too. You're like, holy shit. And you'll get that moment where you're like, am I the dumbest motherfucker on the planet? And if you're Ashley, the answer might be yes. No, I'm joking. I'm very smart, but I let my heart and my desire to help people and to better the world, and I want to see good things in humanity, often gets in the way of probably what it would have been my best judgment to protect myself. You understand? So Catherine says, always put yourself first. That is what they tell people to do on an airplane. You put the mask on yourself, you won't be able to help anyone else. Exactly. I said the other day, a person who doesn't love themselves or respect themselves is incapable of showing it. So if you're the one like me that's looking for damaged people and want to help them, you have to remember helping and supporting are two different things. You can't change things about people. And if that person's so damaged they can't respect themselves or love themselves, you get caught up in the tailwind of loving someone and trying to support them and ended up feeling lackluster at the end of the day because you're not getting what you need. It's a hell of a burden to take up. Beanie says a lot of us suck at emotional self-protection, unfortunately. And what happens is when someone recognizes that about you, they're going to swoop in and manipulate you. And that was why I was so concerned and wanted to tell my brother to be careful. Slime says, I wish I'd killed my father with a gun because he was the meanest one ever. I'm so sorry to hear that. And here's what happens with manipulation when it's that toxic. My sisters and I talked about that for years when we were young. What's a way that we can get rid of these people and get them out of our lives so we can flourish and be happy and without catching a murder charge? And we never did anything, obviously. I'm still sitting here. My family's, my sister. It's really sad when kids are thinking about that. Not only are they thinking about it, but they're talking about it. Think of the amount of pressure it takes to get that way. And we're not talking about a kid who doesn't get an iPhone for Christmas and goes, I hate you. I wish I was dead. Or sits around their room thinking about some shit like that. That's wild. Okay. Welcome to the chat, Nikki. So yeah, let's see. Many dognutter families act like a pack of wolves and single out a family member as the beta. The beta is the one they take out their aggression on, not to talk bad about. Catherine, it's funny because I made a video about Slime a while back in the manipulation in his family, and I had said, like, basically, they've all honed in on him as being their whipping post, their lightning rod, their doormat. Correct? Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm going to ask you guys to make sure and hit the like button, okay? I'm going to ask to make sure you got your little bell thing on for notifications because I took a break. YouTube hasn't been notifying people about the live streams. Asher says, it took me some time to learn you can put nothing but good intention into a relationship and have absolutely no good come from it. I just recently dealt with that. And I've been very respectful. I don't want to go, I've kept things very vague and I'm like that. But I've never been as good to someone or put in as much good intention or effort or love into helping someone this last time around. And I mean, I can make lists and I'm not gonna. I actually was kind of thinking about it this morning and was like sewed all of these clothes and fixed all these pants and made all these meals and showed all this love and spilled all these compliments, and I'm screwed and need to figure out how to get my kid to the dentist because they couldn't stop and help me. I help this person get a job. I, clean up after them. I, try and support them. I do all of this, and they leave all their trash for me to clean up when they leave. It's so hurtful, it's so disrespectful. And so, yes, thank you, Beanie. There's the Dogs Are Garbage Facebook group. So if you'd like, please join it. That's my email. We tell people, if they want to donate a cup of coffee or something. I'm a single mom again. Not that my ex was a lot of help, but he intended to help. I truly have to believe that so I don't break down mentally but he's not here anymore. So it's back to doing my own damn thing. So, cup of coffees are always welcome. If not, I still, whatever. You're drawing something. We're about to leave anyways. Good to see you, Kai. We love you, Slime. Thank you to the moderators and to everyone who stuck by. Thank you for your input. If you guys would like to send me emails about your personal experiences and me keep them anonymous and share them, we can do what I'd like to do with some of these videos, like say I do a video about manipulative toxic family members and you guys send me your stories and shit. You can either stay anonymous or say you want to stay open, and then do like a your email video and go, here's the reaction to the manipulation video and some of the examples I was talking about. Real-time examples help. Learning from life. Anyways, much love. Fuck Fluffy. Until next time, I wish you all the best. Stay strong and keep your emotional boundaries up. The holidays are coming. It's going to suck ass. And you have an awesome day, and I love y'all. And I'll see you soon. All right? Till next time. I want you to watch me pick my nose.